the fan's gonna be a little loud. Hold on. I finally finished Shadow and Bone and I'm very happy with it. As you can tell, I did start reading this about a week ago, I think, or maybe a while ago actually. I was taking my time reading it because I did go on a trip in the middle of starting it and I didn't bring it with me. The first 100 pages of the book, I didn't annotate anything because I usually like to wait at least like the first 50 to 100 pages to get like a gauge of a book and like what I want to actually note take or like annotate in the book. I didn't start annotating this until about 160 pages in, and mainly because, like I said, I wanted to figure out like what I wanted to annotate in it, but also because every time I picked up the book I was about to go to bed and already really sleepy and wasn't looking to add any extra work to reading. But eventually I did start annotating and I love it. I'm usually someone who is a sparse annotator. I don't really like leave a bunch of notes and everything, but I've gotten really into those books that are kind of overly annotated, and I think it makes it a lot more fun because you can, when you're rereading it, see what like your old or past self picked up on, and then also it just makes the reading experience a lot more fun and more engaging. And then also it's like it's my book, you know. Before I was like, I don't ever want to write in my books, I want to keep them pristine and clean, but now I want my books to A, look like they've been read, and B, just be so full of not only like the author's writing but also my writing and what I pulled away from the book and what I really enjoyed from it. And then I also just like pulling out quotes and character development points and like seeing how an author mapped out plot points for a story, and then going back to the beginning pages, annotating the beginning pages. It's what I'm in the middle of doing right now, and seeing like what are some plot points that were foreshadowed that I missed because I didn't realize that they were important facts to keep note of. I know a lot of people have kind of mixed feelings of the Grisha trilogy. I have very low expectations for this entire trilogy, which is why I think I was able to enjoy it so much, because I just really didn't, I just didn't have any expectations for it. That being said, I did find it kind of fun to read. Oh, my battery's flashing. Hold on. The first Leigh Bardugo book I read was Ninth House, which is, I believe, her first new adult book. And that one has a really quick start without very little world building, and you just kind of get thrown into the story and you're kind of forced to learn more about the character and more about the world as you go along in the book. And it's a really great way to also feel like you're the character themselves in that book, because it's a lot of mystery and thriller in that kind of series, I think. But I think the same could be said for this one as well. You're kind of thrown into it with, of course, the shadow fold, and then Alina and Mal making their trek through it. There is a lot more explanation in this one of the world and the setting up of characters and the magic system, which I think is very cool. I did start this book with the expectation of hoping to see some of those characters from Six of Crows in it. I know, don't come for me, okay? I could have definitely looked it up, but I didn't want to risk the chance of getting any spoilers, so I didn't. But because I have seen the first season of Shadow and Bone, I kind of figured that the characters that everyone loves from Six of Crows were introduced in the Grisha trilogy book, and then they got their own series because I know they're a part of the same universe. That is not the case. So about halfway through the book, I was like, where are these characters at? Hello? Yeah, they're not there. They're not there. So that took a bit of adjusting to, once I had to like come to terms with that and realize that like I just started a whole new trilogy for characters that aren't even in the books. But I did read that you should read the trilogy first, because things that are mentioned in the duology of Six of Crows can kind of be mild spoilers for the trilogy if you are reading it. So I will continue reading this. Like I said, I liked it. I think I'd give it about 3 stars. You know, it wasn't anything miraculous, Wasn't anything life-changing, but I did enjoy it. Let's go ahead and put this on the shelf and grab Siege and Storm and do a little update. Gonna have to excuse the fan because it's actually quite warm in here despite the sweatshirt I'm wearing. But we are now on chapter, we're not that much further, honestly. I haven't read a lot, but I'm on chapter 4. It's getting good. Okay, the beginning was a little slow, but now things are picking up. I don't want to do spoilers just because it's not my vibe. I don't like spoiling things. I'm in the portion of the book where, oh yeah, I really don't know how to do this without spoiling. Basically, in the beginning, Alina is trying to come to terms with not using her power as much as she was when she first discovered it, when she was at like the Grisha school, like the little palace in the first book. And so that's something that she's really been dealing with in the first couple of chapters in the second book. Now new people are being introduced and some old people are being reintroduced, and things are heating up quite a bit. I'm really liking it, and I think I'll probably try to read like 100 pages of this tonight because I kind of really do want to be done reading it. Like I want to get through the whole series. Like I just want to be done with reading the series so I can get on to Six of Crows. I need to go ahead and continue tabbing though, because I've just been underlining right now because I couldn't find my tabs, but I just found them. I've noticed when I'm reading, I really like to write down like underline key plot points in the story, so that way it's easier for me to like go back and skim through the pages of like remembering like around what page number it was on, and then easier to like pinpoint exactly the points of the page that things were happening rather than having to like reread the whole page. Yeah, so that's usually what I do. And so things are, like I said, getting really things are getting hot. Not in the spicy way, but just in like the action-packed way. That's what I will say. I do like how Lee Bardugo is really good at writing like action sequences but not sacrificing good dialogue in the effort of having a good action sequence, and I think that's really difficult for some writers to do, and I think she's done it quite well in both Shadow and Bone and Ninth House, and it's continuing in this one as well. Also, it's just like Mal and Alina, I love them. They're so cute together, and it's like sweet moments, you know, because I kind of like how they're friends to lovers, kind of, I guess, in the sense, but it's kind of giving friends to lovers to friends. But I'm not gonna, you know, read too much into it. I'm just gonna continue going into the story as friends to lovers. I think it's gonna keep getting good. I'm enjoying it. So it's 8 o'clock and it's kind of surprising that it's still a little light, like that's not completely dark outside yet. That is all. I don't know, this is I think my first true reading vlog. Like I feel like all my other reading vlogs I kind of like just do bits of reading and then at the end of it talk about the book, but I'm trying to be more descriptive of like what parts of the book I'm in, just so it's more fun for me to go back and watch the video and like see my initial thoughts on it. But yeah, so I hope this is going well, and I hope to continue and finish this. I also hope that the reading vlog will make me finish this a lot quicker than I usually finish books, but I don't know how true that'll be just because I do work. And I do feel like most of the times whenever I am gonna like vlog myself reading, it's probably gonna be at nighttime after work, or maybe in the morning. So that is what this is probably gonna look like. But I've said but like probably 5 times now, so I'm just gonna let you all go and continue reading and then probably make some dinner. Oh wait, today is now Friday, Cinco de Mayo. Celebrate the way you do, but make sure you also support small Mexican businesses if that's something you're able to do in your local area. Today we went and got tacos and margaritas because it's always fun to do living in Texas. Unfortunately, the fire department did have to be called. Yeah, that did happen. That was a big girl moment of me because I could have panicked, but I didn't. I called the fire department because our carbon monoxide detector was going off when I walked into the door, and it was like that quick fight or flight, like, ooh, is someone in the house coming to get me? What is that sound coming from? I did my reasonable deduction skills quite quickly, realized it was a carbon monoxide detector, called my mother. I was like, hello? And I called the fire department. They came and said I'm fine. So it is now 10:41 and I'm finally picking up my book for the day. This is literally what it's like to have reading as a hobby while you work full-time. It's quite impossible to read. I won't say impossible because I could prioritize my time a lot better, and by that I could mean I could probably spend like maybe 7 to 5 hours less on TikTok and actually get more reading done in the day. But you can't really, it's much easier to pick up TikTok throughout the day while taking breaks, you know, from the computer while you're working than it is to pick up a whole book, you know. So like the time adds up quite quickly. Now that I've caught you up and I've rambled quite enough, let's do a quick update of Siege and Storm. I think the last time we chatted I was on page maybe like 70, I want to say 81. I think I was on page 81 and I'm now on page 183. So I've read about 100 pages more, and it's kind of crazy to me that I still haven't even hit halfway. So that's not fun. And I'm not gonna say I'm not having a good time because I like Alina, I like Mal. I'm gonna say a few spoilers here. If you don't want to hear them, I'll put the timestamp to like skip over this because I don't want to spoil for you. If you already read this, or if you read Six of Crow first, to my understanding, I think Stormhound, whatever, he has been introduced into the story now, which is now been revealed that he's actually Nikolai. Like, I love him, I really do, and I think that's something that I really like about Leigh Bardugo, is that she's very good at giving characters their own personality, and it's something that sometimes can be really hard when you have a big ensemble cast in a book, or even like writing a TV show or a movie. It's very hard to give everyone their own distinct character, but Stormond, or Nikolai, or the said person, I'll say, has a very strong personality, and it's very distinctly different from both Alina and Mal and pretty much all of the other characters that we've met so far from book 1, and I like just really enjoy that. So I am really enjoying reading those bits with him. And I'll say that Leigh Bardugo is also very good at dialogue. I think I may have mentioned this already, but I think she's really good at doing dialogue because, again, with it, they all sound different and they all have their distinct voice, but they're also just like kind of fun. And it's not dialogue or words that I don't think that real people would say, because, you know, sometimes in like these action books or in these fantasy books, people just say the craziest of things, and you're like, would you actually let those words leave your mouth though? You know, like if we were like sitting here in an actual conversation, would you actually say that? And I just don't think that they would. But I do think that some of the conversations that are happening in here between Mal and Alina would definitely happen. And there was also a scene between, I think this may be another spoiler, there was a scene with Mal and Alina where he is upset with her because she is wanting to continue to find like this third amplifier, and he's like, when is everything going to be enough? Like, I'll continue, he's basically like, I'll follow you anywhere and I'll continue to do things you want me to do for you, but like, I'm worried that at the end of this, once you have everything that you won't want me anymore. That shit got me. It did. Like, that was so good. And what made it so good is that he said it and then left, and I I think that is such an underrated way of finishing your argument. Is like, don't say anything else, don't yell while you're saying it, say your point and walk away. Like, it's just so, it just hits so well, because it's like, I said what I said and I don't care what you have to say back. Bye. It's just so good. So I really loved that. That scene, as I said, really ate. 4 plus 4 equals 8. That was so cringe. But anywho, I think I'm going to continue reading now. I want to read some more of this before I go to bed tonight. Anyway, bye.